Hi guys, welcome to this session in Microsoft Project. In this module, I want to show you how you can display multiple baselines on the screen at the same time. So on the screen at the minute, I've just got a very simple project plan without a baseline. So I'm going to save a baseline first of all. Now to do that, you make sure that you've got your project plan how you want it. So I've got this one all linked up. I've got it resourced how I want it, and I'm ready to go live with it. So I'm ready to save a baseline. So a baseline is just a snapshot in time of what your plan was, and then you can measure against that baseline. And project itself allows you to have 11 baselines, so you can change plans or report on a different baseline as you go through a long project. You don't have to save 11 baselines, but it is an option. Now to save your first baseline, you're going onto the project tab, which I'm on, and you go to set baseline and you set baseline, and it comes up with this, and you can see from this little drop down that you've got 10 numbered ones, and then the first one isn't numbered, 11 altogether. So I'll save that one, click OK, and that will take a snapshot of all the costs and everything associated with this project. Now if I change the view for a second, if I go to view and just change that view to show you the cost table part of the view, I'll change. So table costs. What happened when you saved the baseline is that these figures got transported over or copied across into the baseline column. So that's the baseline column, and it's the same as that at the moment because I've not updated anything. But what I want to do is go down to a different view. I want the tracking table, which I can get in this view, but I'm going to change it. And I want the tracking Gantt as well. So if I go across to this side here, which I've got active, now to get this active, if I just show you, it's called the view bar. It's normally like that, but you can just right click there and tick it on. And then all the things are active for you in this list, including your own different views. You can see one there called Steve. If I right click again, you can see what's there. If I go into the tracking Gantt, you'll see the tracking Gantt appear, slightly different columns as I come across here. I want the tracking table. Now I can't see any data at all, so if I go to tasks and scroll to tasks, it should bring everything back in. Once you save a baseline, you'll get these little charcoal markers. That's the baseline. Everything is exactly the same at the moment. The things are red, the actuals are red, because on the Gantt chart formatting, it's got critical ticked as red. No, it's not. Now it's back. So that's why it's like that. This is not the tracking table though. If I go to the view tab and go to tables and select tracking from here, I've got some different columns and I can edit these and update my tasks from this. Now what I tend to do is I tend to insert the baseline column so I can see what the baseline start dates were. It's totally up to you whether you do this. You've got actual start, actual finish, and actual duration columns. I don't want that column, so I'll just delete that one out. I will right click and insert a column there and put baseline column. Now you'd need to save this view as baseline 1 because you just want the baseline start here. Obviously because there's 11 different columns, I'll do that there, baseline finish, insert column. You can't really put them all in the same one. So what I would do is just save this as baseline 1 view, and then this would be baseline, next one would be baseline 2 view and stuff like that. I want baseline finish here. Find it, that one. And I want, that's what baseline duration, the last one, insert column. So baseline duration, that one. So that's, so I can see now which ones. I need to move these around a little bit actually. Put that one there. So all the baseline ones are together like that. So now this is how it would work. So you're ready to go. You've got your tracking Gantt and you've got your Gantt chart there. So first task is, let's have a look what the first task is. Install software room 1. So let's say that planned is a 1 day duration, it says there. So if I say it was an actual 2 day duration, 2, you can see the movement of on the Gantt chart straight away. And as soon as you put the actual duration in, it gives you the finish and start date and the 100% complete, which is the way I would suggest you do it, rather than doing 100% complete, which is then indicating that every single task was on time and there was no delay. When you are actually doing this, actual durations, could be in hours, whatever duration time you want, it's a more accurate way of doing it. And if I do another one down the bottom here, install software room 2 is a start with that. I do know that. So I'll say that was also 2 days, and that'll move off again at the bottom. So they're now still in tandem. Now, what you could do, if I say that the start date for that was also delayed, so if I push that forward to the 2nd of June, and that will forward to the 2nd of June, so we've got a scheduling slip like that. You can see the initial plan. Just for this demonstration, I'm going to save a second baseline now, so you can see the multiple baselines together. So I'm back up to the project tab. I'm going to set baseline. Now, a lot of people, for some weird reason, overwrite the previous baseline. I don't recommend you do that, because that is your initial plan. And when you review a project at the end of the project, you should be looking back at how good at your planning you were. And if you're just overwriting them all the time, you're never going to find that information out, and you're never going to learn from your mistakes. Clicking OK to that. So I've now taken a second snapshot. So if I go for this next task, so we're updating again, test software room 1, that's also going to be 1 day. I'll say that was 3 days. Let's move that off again, and I'll do the same on that one. That was 3 days, and let's move that off. So now we've moved forward again. I'm going to say that the start date for those, it's due to start on Tuesday the 27th. It's down as the 4th because it's just following on, but I'm going to move it forward even more. So it was the 4th of June. So if I say it didn't start until the 9th, let's move it even further, and that'll start on the 9th. Okay, and I'll just do that and then save another baseline. So we'll have 3 baselines all together. Set baseline again. Save the third baseline. It's another snapshot. And then one last update. So I'll go for 3 days and 3 days on that one. Pressed it in the wrong column. Put that back to 0. Actual duration 3 days. So that's moved it all the way across like so. So all you can see now is your original baseline markers there, how far that's come off. But you have got this feature on the Gantt chart format tab to display different baselines. So I can go to that second baseline there, and you can see the movement on that one. Then I can go to that third baseline, and you can see the movement off that one. And if I put that back to the first baseline, I could do this then, slippage from the last baseline, if there is any, or from the first baseline. You can see the slippage there. Second one, not as far. But what about looking at all the baselines on the same screen? Because that's what this video is about. I want to see all the baselines on the same screen. There is a view called multiple baseline Gantt, where it will show you a line for every baseline that you've saved, and that could be up to 11, so it's quite tight. But let's have a look at that one. Get back to the view tab where it says other views in there, more views, and then you're looking for multiple baseline Gantt. That one. Apply that view, and then just bring this over again. Can't see anything. Click on that, go to the task tab, scroll to tasks, and it brings things into view, or starts bringing things into view. So you can see the baselines as they were created. So the red one would be the first one. Is the red one the first one? So there should be 3 altogether. There's only 2 there I can see. Let me just change this duration, timeline duration. So I want this into middle tier, bottom tiers in hours. Right, well this needs to be in days. Okay, we'll do the top one. Put that to 1. 1 day. Middle tier I'll put to weeks. 1 week. Let's see what that looks like. That's better. Let's see all 3 of them now. So the blue one is the first one, then the red one, then the green one. But you can see them all together now on the same sheet. And these bars at the top, you can see the overarching movement on all the Gantt charts. Overarching movement, should I say, on all the baselines. If you double click on that little summary task marker, you can put some information on there if you want. Bar text. Right, I could put baseline cost there. So it's going to be the baseline, just straightforward baseline cost. That's the field you want, that one. Okay, which is saying it's that. And if I do the same on the red one is baseline 1. So bar text on the right. So this is going to be baseline 1 cost. That one. See what the difference is. So that's the difference. And then you can do the same for the third one, and as many as you want, or you don't need to put that on at all. I don't suggest you put it on for every single task, otherwise the whole thing will be too cluttered. But that's how you can save multiple baselines and then have a view that just shows you those baselines side by side. You could save this view as a special view for you and have it available in the other views in here. So you can just click onto it. It'll actually appear down this bar on the left there if you created it, and you just better click on it to see it very quickly as you're going through your project. So that's all I want to talk about in this little video: how you can save multiple baselines and how you can view them on one screen. So hopefully this information is of use. Thank you for your time. I'll catch you in the next one.